biology tutorials. In today's live, we will be reading chapter 6 Tissues of Class 9 Science NCRT. I hope the screen is visible to everybody. Whenever you'll be hearing to this audio, please share it with your friends for the maximum reach. And in case you like the audio, the pronunciation, please do hit a like button. Let's move further. Let's begin with chapter 6 Reading Tissues 1. From the last chapter, we recall that all living organisms are made up of cells. In unicellular organisms, a single cell performs all basic functions. For example, in amoeba, a single cell carries out movement, intake of food, gaseous exchange, and excretion. But in multicellular organisms, there are millions of cells. Most of these cells are specialized to carry out specific functions. Each specialized function is taken up by a different group of cells. Since these cells carry out only a particular function, they do it very efficiently. In human beings, muscle cells contract and relax to cause movement. Nerve cells carry messages, blood flows to transport oxygen, food, hormones, and waste material, and so on. In plants, vascular tissues conduct food and water from one part of the plant to the other parts. So, multicellular organisms show division of labor. Cells specializing in one function are often grouped together in the body. This means that a particular function is carried out by a cluster of cells at a definite place in the body. This cluster of cells, called a tissue, is arranged and designed so as to give the highest possible efficiency of function. Blood, phloem, and muscle are all examples of tissues. A group of cells that are similar in structure and or work together to achieve a particular function forms a tissue. Let's move on to this part now. 6.1. Are plants and animals made of same types of tissues? Let us compare their structure and functions. Do plants and animals have the same structure? Do they perform similar functions? I hope this side screen is also visible to you. There are noticeable differences between the two. Plants are stationary or fixed, they do not move. Since they have to be upright, they have a large quantity of supportive tissue. The supportive tissue generally has dead cells. Animals, on the other hand, move around in search of food, mates, and shelter. They consume more energy as compared to plants. Most of the tissues they contain are living. Another difference between animals and plant is in the pattern of growth. The growth in plants is limited to certain regions, while this is not so in animals. There are some tissues in plants that divide throughout their life. These tissues are localized in certain regions. Based on the dividing capacity of the tissues, various plant tissues can be classified as growing or meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Cell growth in animals is more uniform, so there is no demarcation of living and non living regions in animals. Now, this paragraph. The structural organization of organs and organ systems is far more specialized and localized in complex animals than even in very complex plants. This fundamental difference reflects the different mode of life pursued by these two major groups of organisms, particularly in their different feeding methods. Also, they are differently adapted for a sedentary existence. On one hand, plants are and active locomotion, and on the other, animals contributing to this difference in organ system design. It is with reference to these complex animal and plant bodies that we will now talk about the concept of tissues in some detail. Let's flip to the next page. This side. This is page number 61 of your NCERT. So in text questions, the first one is what is a tissue? Second one is what is the utility of tissues in multicellular organisms? 6.2 plant tissues, 6.2.1 meristematic tissues. So figure 6.1 is showing you the growth of roots in onion bulbs, activity. The various steps are: take two glass jars and fill them with water. Next, now take two onion bulbs and place one on each jar as shown in figure 6.1. Next, observe the growth of roots in both the bulbs for a few days. Next, measure the length of roots on day 1, 2, and 3. On day 4, cut the root tips of the onion bulb in jar 2 by about 1 centimeter. After this, observe the growth of roots in both the jars and measure their lengths each day for 5 or more days and record the observations in tables like the table below. So length has to be measured on all the 5 days in jar 1 and jar 2. Let's move on to this side. From the above observations, answer the following questions. Question number 1: which of the two onions has longer roots and why? Second, do the roots continue to grow even after we have removed their tips? Question 3: why would the tips stop growing in jar 2 after we cut them? The growth of plants occurs only in certain specific regions. This is because the dividing tissue, also known as meristematic tissue, is located only at these points. Depending on the region where they are present, meristematic tissues are classified as apical, lateral, and intercalary. Figure 6.2. New cells produced by meristem are initially like those of meristem itself, but as they grow and mature, their characteristics slowly change and they become differentiated as components of other tissues. Figure 6.2: location of meristematic tissue in plant body. Apical meristem is present at the growing tips of stems and roots and increases the length of the stem and root. The girth of the stem and root increases due to lateral meristem or cambium. Intercalary meristem seen in some plants is located near the node. Let's move on to the next page. It is page number 62. Whenever you will hear to this audio, do hit the like button and share it with your friends. Cells of meristematic tissue are very active. They have dense cytoplasm, thin cellulose walls, and prominent nuclei. They lack vacuoles. Can we think why they would lack vacuoles? You might want to refer to the functions of vacuoles in the chapter on cells. 6.2.2 Permanent tissue. What happens to the cells formed by meristematic tissue? They take up a specific role and lose the ability to divide. As a result, they form a permanent tissue. This process of taking up a permanent shape, size, and a function is called differentiation. Differentiation leads to the development of various types of permanent tissues. Now let's come on to the activity 6.2. I hope the screen is visible. Take a plant stem with the help of your teacher, cut into very thin slices or sections. Now, stain the slices with saffronin, place one neatly cut section on a slide and put a drop of glycerin. Cover with a cover slip and observe under a microscope. Observe the various types of cells and their arrangement. Compare it with figure 6.3. Now answer the following on the basis of your observation. 1. Are all cells similar in structure? Second, how many types of cells can be seen? Next one. So we are coming to the right side of page number 62 of your NCERT. Point number 3, can we think of reasons why there would be so many types of cells? We can also try to cut sections of plant roots. We can even try cutting sections of roots and stem of different plants. 6.2.21 Simple permanent tissue. A few layers of cells beneath the epidermis are generally simple permanent tissue. Parenchyma is the most common simple permanent tissue. It consists of a relatively unspecialized cells with thin cell walls. They are living cells. They are usually loosely arranged, thus large spaces between cells or intercellular spaces are found in this tissue. Figure 6.4a. The tissue generally stores food. Now the next part here at the bottom. I hope the screen is visible. In some situations, it contains chlorophyll and perform photosynthesis, and then it is called chlorenchyma. In aquatic plants, large air cavities are present in parenchyma to help them float. Such a parenchyma type is called erenchyma. The flexibility in plants is due to another permanent tissue, collenchyma. It allows bending of various parts of a plant like tendrils and stem of climbers without breaking. It also provides mechanical support. We can find this tissue in leaf stalks below the epidermis. The cells of this tissue are living, elongated, and irregularly thickened at the corners. There is very little intercellular space, figure 6.4b. Please do consider sharing with your friends. In case you are liking the audio, please do hit the like button. We are coming to this page now. It is page number 63 of your NCERT, figure 6.4. Various types of simple tissues are shown to you: A. Parenchyma, B. Collenchyma, C. Sclerenchyma, and one is the transverse section and two is the longitudinal section. Now let's come on to this side. Yet another type of permanent tissue is sclerenchyma. It is the tissue which makes the plant hard and stiff. We have seen the husk of a coconut. It is made up of sclerenchymatous tissue. The cells of this tissue are dead. They are long and narrow as the walls are thickened due to lignin. Often these walls are so thick that there is no intercellular space inside the cell, figure 6.4c. This tissue is present in stems around vascular bundles in the veins of leaves and in the hard coverings of seeds and nuts. It provides strength to the plant parts. Activity 6.3. Take a freshly plucked leaf of Rio. Stretch and break it by applying pressure. While breaking it, keep it stretched gently so that some peel or skin projects out from the cut. Remove this peel and put it in a petri dish filled with water. Add a few drops of saffron in. Wait for a couple of minutes and then transfer it onto a slide. Gently place a cover slip over it. Observe under microscope. Now the last paragraph here. What do you observe What you observe is the outermost layer of cells called epidermis. The epidermis is usually made of a single layer of cells. In some plants living in very dry habitats, the epidermis may be thicker since protection against water loss is critical. The entire surface of a plant has an outer covering epidermis. It protects all the parts of the plant. Epidermal cells on the aerial. Now this right side of page number 63. Figure 6.5. Guard cells and epidermal cells, A. Lateral view, B. Surface view. Parts of the plants often secrete a waxy, water resistant layer on their outer surface. This aids in protection against loss of water, mechanical injury, and invasion by parasitic fungi. Since it has a protective role to play, cells of epidermal tissue form a continuous layer without intercellular spaces. Most epidermal cells are relatively flat. Often their outer and side walls are thicker than the inner wall. We can observe small pores here and there in the epidermis of the leaf. These pores are called stomata. Stomata are enclosed by two kidney-shaped structures called guard cells. They are necessary for exchanging gases with the atmosphere. Transpiration, loss of water in the form of water vapor, also takes place through stomata. So we are done the reading of this page. Flipping on to the next one, we have reached page number 64 of chapter 6, Tissues of grade 9. Recall which gas is required for photosynthesis. Find out the role of transpiration in plants. Epidermal cells of the roots, whose function is water absorption, commonly bear long hair like parts that greatly increase the total absorptive surface area. In some plants, like desert plants, epidermis has a thick, waxy coating of cutin, chemical substance with waterproof quality on its outer surface. Can we think of a reason for this? Is the outer layer of a branch of a tree different from the outer layer of a young stem? As plants grow older, the outer protective tissue undergoes Certain changes. A strip of secondary meristem located in the cortex forms layer of cells which constitute the cork. Cells of cork are dead and compactly arranged without intercellular spaces. They also have a substance called suberin in their walls that makes them impervious to gases and water. Figure 6.6, protective tissue. Let's come on to the next title, that is 6.2.2. 2. Complex permanent tissue. The different types of tissues we have discussed until now are all made of one type of cells, which look like each other. Such tissues are called simple permanent tissue. Yet another type of permanent tissue is complex tissue. Complex tissues are made up of more than one type of cells. All these cells coordinate to perform a common function. Xylem and phloem are examples of such complex tissues. They are both conducting tissues and constitute a vascular bundle. Vascular tissue, this side, so we are on the right side of page number 64 of chapter 6 tissues, grade 9 science, is a distinctive feature of the complex plants, one that has made possible their survival in the terrestrial environment. In figure 6.3 showing a section of stem, can you see different types of cells in the vascular bundle? Xylem consists of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, figure 6.7a, b, c, and xylem fibers. Tracheids and vessels have thick walls and many are dead cells when mature. Tracheids and vessels are tubular structures. This allows them to transport water and minerals vertically. The parenchyma stores food. Xylem fibers are mainly supportive in function. Thank you guys for giving love to this video. Keep sharing your love like this. Xylem consists of tracheids, vessels. I think I have already read this paragraph. Phloem is made up of five types of cells, sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers, and the phloem parenchyma, figure 6.7d. Sieve tubes are tubular cells with perforated walls. Phloem transports food from leaves to other parts of the plant. Except phloem fibers, other phloem cells are living cells. So A is showing you the tracheid, B is showing you the vessel, C is showing you the xylem parenchyma, and figure 6.7 D is showing you the section of phloem, and figure 6.7 is showing you the types of complex tissue. So we are done with this page as well. Now we are moving on to the in-text questions giving on page number 65. So question number 1, name types of simple tissues. Question number 2, where is apical meristem found? 3. Which tissue makes up the husk of coconut? 4. What are the constituents of phloem? 6.3, animal tissues. When we breathe, we can actually feel the movement of our chest. How do these body parts move? From this, we have specialized cells called muscle cells, figure 6.8. The contraction and relaxation of these cells result in movement. So, figure 6.8 is showing you the location of muscle fibers. Now, flip to the right side of page number 65 of your NCERT class 9. During breathing, we inhale oxygen. Where does this oxygen go? It is absorbed in the lungs and it is transported to all the body cells through blood. Why would cells need oxygen? The function of mitochondria we studied earlier provide a clue to this question. Blood flows and carries various substances from one part of the body to the another. For example, it carries oxygen and food to all the cells. It also collect waste from all the parts of the body and carries them to the liver and kidney for disposal. Blood and muscles are both examples of tissues found in our body. On the basis of the functions they perform, we can think of different types of animal tissue such as epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. Blood is a type of connective tissue and muscular tissue, muscle forms muscular tissue. So next we come on to the next title given on page number 65. 6.3.1, epithelial tissue. The covering or protective tissues in the animal body are epithelial tissues. Epithelium covers most organs and cavities within the body. It also forms a barrier to keep different body systems separate. The skin, the lining of the mouth, the lining of blood vessels, lung alveoli, and kidney tubules are all made up of epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue cells are tightly packed and form a continuous sheet. They have only a small amount of cementing material between them and almost no intercellular spaces. Obviously, anything entering or leaving the body must cross at least one layer of epithelium. As a result, the permeability of the cells of various epithelia plays an important role in regulating the exchange of materials between the body and the external environment and also between different parts of the body. Regardless of the type, all epithelium is usually separated from the underlying tissue by an extracellular fibrous basement membrane. Different epithelia, figure 6.9, show different structures that correlate with their unique functions. For example, in cells lining blood vessels or lung alveoli, where transportation of substances across through a selectively permeable membrane. This is a simple, flat kind of epithelium. It is called the simple squamous epithelium. Squama means scale. So figure 6.9 is giving you an idea of different types of epithelial tissues. Now this right side of page number 66 of your book of skin. Similar squamous epithelial cells are extremely thin and flat and form a delicate lining. The esophagus and the lining of the mouth are also covered with the squamous epithelium. The skin which protects the body is also made of squamous epithelium. Skin epithelial cells are arranged in many layers to prevent wear and tear. Since they are arranged in a pattern of layers, the epithelium is also known as the stratified squamous epithelium. Next paragraph. Where absorption and secretion occur as in the inner lining of the intestine, tall epithelial cells are present. This columnar, meaning pillar-like epithelium, facilitates movement across the epithelial barrier. In the respiratory tract, the columnar epithelial tissue also has cilia, which are hair-like projections on the outer surface of epithelial cells. These cilia can move and their movement pushes the mucus forward to clear it. This type of epithelium is thus known as ciliated columnar epithelium. Cuboidal epithelium with cube-shaped cells forming the lining of kidney tubules and ducts of salivary glands where it provides mechanical support. Epithelial cells then acquire additional specialization as gland cells which can secrete substances at the epithelial surface. Sometimes a portion of the epithelial tissue folds inward and a multicellular gland is formed. This is called glandular epithelium. So we are coming to the heading 6.3.2 connective tissue. The screen is visible. Blood is a type of connective tissue. Why would it be called as connective tissue? A clue is provided in the introduction of this chapter. Now let us look at this type of tissue in some more detail. The cells of the connective tissue are loosely spaced and embedded in an intercellular mix. Figure 6.10. The matrix may be jelly-like, fluid, dense, or rigid. The nature of the matrix differs in concordance with the function of the particular connective tissue. Activity 6.4. Take a drop of blood on a slide and observe different cells present it after under the microscope. Figure 6.10, the diagram is very important. All the diagrams are asked in the examination. So it is showing you types of connective tissue: A, types of blood cells; B, compact bones; C, hyaline cartilage; D, areolar tissue; and E, adipose tissue. Please share this video with your friends so that they can also hear to this audio. In case you are liking it, please do hit the like button. Now we are on the right side of page number 67 of your NCRT Science grade 9. Blood has a fluid or liquid matrix called plasma in which red blood cells RBCs, white blood cells WBCs, and platelets are suspended. The plasma contains proteins, salts, and hormones. Blood flows and transports gases, digested food, hormones, and waste material to different parts of the body. Bone is another example of a connective tissue. It forms the framework that supports the body. It also anchors the muscles and supports the main organs of the body. It is a strong and non flexible tissue which would be uh, What would be the advantage of these properties for bone functions? Bone cells are embedded in a hard matrix that is composed of calcium and phosphorus compounds. Two bones cannot be connected to each other by another type of two bones can be connected to each other by another type of connective tissue called the ligament. This tissue is very elastic. It has considerable strength. Ligaments contain very little matrix and connect bones with bones. Tendons connect muscles to bones and are another type of connective tissue. Tendons are fibrous tissue with great strength and limited flexibility. So you prepare a table of difference between these. It will be very for your exam. Another type of connective tissue, cartilage, has widely spaced cells. The solid matrix is composed of proteins and sugars. Cartilage smoothens bone surfaces at joints, and it is also present in the nose, eye, trachea, and larynx. We can fold we can fold the cartilage of the ears, but we cannot bend the bones in our arms. Think of how the two tissues are different. Areolar connective tissue is found between the skin and the muscles, around blood vessels and nerves, and in the bone marrow. It fills the space inside the organs, supports internal organs, and helps in repair of tissues. Where are fats stored in our body? Fat storing adipose tissue is found below the skin and between the internal organs. Cells of this tissue are filled with the fat globules. Storage of fats also lets it act as an insulator. Now let's come on to the last paragraph of this chapter, 6.3.3, muscular tissue. It is the second last actually. Muscular tissue consists of elongated cells, also called muscle fibers. This tissue is responsible for movement in our body. Let's come to page number 68 as we are done with the reading of the previous. Muscles contain special proteins called contractile proteins, which contract and relax to cause movement. So figure 6.11 is showing you types of muscle fibers. A is striated muscle, B smooth muscle, C cardiac muscle. We can move some muscles by conscious will. Muscles present in our limbs move when we want them to and stop when we so decide. Such muscles are called voluntary muscles. Now come on to this right side. Figure 6.11a. These muscles are called skeletal muscles as they are mostly attached to the bones and help in body movement. Under the microscope, these muscles show alternate light and dark bands or striations when also called striated muscles. The result of this tissue are long, cylindrical, unbranched and multinucleate having many nuclei. The movement of food in the alimentary canal or the contraction and relaxation of blood vessels are involuntary muscles. We cannot really start them or stop them simply by wanting to do. Smooth muscles or involuntary muscles control such movements. They are also found in the iris of the eye, the uterus, and the bronchi of the lungs. The cells are long with pointed ends, spindle shaped, and uninucleate, having a single nucleus. They are also called unstriated muscles. Why would they be called that? The muscles of the heart show rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout life. These involuntary muscles are called cardiac muscles. Heart muscle cells are cylindrical, branched, and uninucleate. Activity 6.5 from the tissues chapter of class 9. Compare the structures of different types of muscular tissues. Note down their shape, number of nuclei, and position of nuclei within the cells in the table 6.1. So in the table 6.1, three columns are being made, striated, smooth, cardiac, and you need to find out the shapes, the number of nuclei, and the position of nuclei. Figure 6.3.4, nervous tissue. All cells possess the ability to respond to stimuli. However, the cells of the nervous tissue are highly specialized for being stimulated and then transmitting the stimulus very rapidly from one place to another within the body. The brain, spinal cord, and the nerves are all composed of the nervous tissue. The cells of this tissue are called nerve cells or neurons. A neuron consists of a cell body with a nucleus and cytoplasm from which long, thin, hair-like parts arise. Usually, each neuron has a single long part or process in the form of a fiber called axon and many short. Figure 6.12 is showing you a neuron, a unit of nervous tissue. Let's come on to the right hand side of page number 69 of your book. Branch parts processes called dendrites. An individual nerve cell may be up to meter long. Many nerve fibers bound together by connective tissue up make up a nerve. The signal that pass along the nerve fiber is called a nerve impulse. The nerve impulse from the nerve endings is transmitted to the dendrites of the next nerve cell. Nerve impulses allow us to move our muscles when we want to. The functional combination of nerve and muscles tissue is fundamental to most animals. This combination enables animals to move rapidly in response to stimuli. In text questions, question number one, name the tissue responsible for the movement of our body. Question number two, what does a neuron look like? Question number three, give three features of cardiac muscles. Four, what are the functions of areolar tissue? With this, we come to an end of the reading of this chapter. Before we end this live session, let's have the summary of the tissues from the back of it from NCRT. So, first point is tissue is a group of cells similar in structure and function. Plant tissues are of two main types, meristematic and permanent. Permanent tissue is the dividing tissue present in the growing regions of the plant. Permanent tissues are derived from meristematic tissue. Once they lose the ability to divide, they are classified as simple and complex tissues. Parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma are three types of simple tissues. Xylem and phloem are types of complex tissues. Animal tissues can be epithelial, connective, muscular, and nervous tissue. Depending on shape and function, epithelial tissue is classified as squamous, cuboidal, columnar, ciliated, and granular. Now, the next page, page number 70 of your NCERT. The different types of connective tissues in our body include areolar tissue, adipose tissue, bone, tendon, ligament, cartilage, and blood. Striated and unstriated and cardiac are three types of muscle tissues. Nervous tissue is made up of neurons that receive and conduct impulses. Students, if you have liked the audio, please do hit the like button for maximum reach and do not forget it to be shared further. See you in next video with the audio of chapter 7. Stay connected and do hit the like button, or you can type a comment in the under given comment section. Stay connected. Thank you and see you.